We are here. It's week 14. It's do or die getting into the playoffs. I'm joined, of course, by my guy, Brandon Adam. We are the DFS Army Fantasy Football Show. Brandon, what's going on, brother? Huge week.
Huge week. This is the time to sneak into the playoffs. If you've been battling, you've had injuries all year, and you're finally getting people back. I have a couple teams in those situations where I'm just battling for that last playoff spot. And remember, once you make the playoffs, it's a whole new season and a whole new bag, and you don't got to worry about anything else besides that next week. So anything can happen. Just get into the dance, and we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. I got a few teams that I'm pumped up to have, and we're going to be hanging banners for sure.
Oh, that's fantastic. And listen, like the NFL schedulers didn't exactly make this easy for us walking into week 14. We have 6 teams on bye. Okay, we got that. And I'm sure everybody's heard this, but let's just go through it. Let's just talk about the background. Let's set the stage, Brandon. It's the 6 teams. We got the Atlanta Falcons, the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, the Indianapolis Colts, the New Orleans Saints, and the Washington Commanders. Let's talk injuries real quick. Okay, let's get that out of the way because there are a lot of good fantasy relevant players that are questionable or out for this week. So we got Trevor Lawrence. He's questionable. I've had a ton of questions about this. Now, he did practice limited yesterday, but it's a toe injury. So I feel like for the quarterback position, he should be able to battle the toe injury. So I'm not too worried about that one. Lamar Jackson's doubtful. He's not going to play, right? It's going to be the Tyler Huntley show. Saquon Barkley, that one worries me. He's questionable with the neck. It doesn't sound good. Do we really trust Matt Breida? Not really, but, desperate times call for desperate plays. Amari Cooper, questionable with the hip. Opportunity for a little DPJ. Perhaps we'll talk about him later on the show. Hayden Hurst is out for the Bengals. Now, from a fantasy perspective, Hurst isn't exactly a tight end you want to play on a weekly basis, but it does actually bode well for the other pass catchers, and there are a few on those Cincinnati Bengals, of course. Nico Collins is out. Brandon Cooks is out. Treylon Brooks is out with the concussion. Deontay Johnson is questionable with the hip. This makes things interesting. This makes, especially for a player like Deontay, who is got that wiggle baby. That's how he gets open. That's worrisome. Cortland Sutton is out. Leonard Fournette is questionable. Now, this one's interesting because we were chatting about this before the show. He didn't practice yesterday, but it sounds like you're saying Todd Bowles is saying that he's probably going to play.
Yeah, he's somewhat positive, trending towards suiting up.
Okay. So that's a good thing, I'd say, for Leonard Fournette managers. Probably goal line work would be my guess. Rashad White's likely going to be the beneficiary of that. Ken Walker, he's not going to play, man. So let's not even talk about Ken Walker as if he is going to. It's Travis Homer's show. And then DK Metcalf with the hip injury, he's questionable. So that was one you got to keep an eye out. Tyler Lockett, man, he has been quietly fantastic this season. So you're going to load him up. He's not even a question. We got Bali jumping on. What's going on, Bali? Thanks for tuning in every single week this week. But Brandon, it's business season here at DFS Army. So let's talk about your number one flex play on the week.
My first flex play on the week is my guy Travis Homer. I'm a Seattle Seahawks fan. I've seen this kid play in all sorts of games preseason, in relief and whatnot, and he's got some burst. He has a 95th percentile in burst score with a player profiler. He has runs a 4.48. He's a good looking back when he wants to get moving. He's 5'10", 201 pounds. And honestly, he's the only guy that's healthy. DJ Dallas is not healthy. He hasn't practiced all week. Ken Walker is out. He's done. With DK Metcalf struggling as well, I guarantee you Pete is going to be totally fine with leaning in on Travis Homer. He was talking about him with Pat Kerwin this week about Travis Homer saying that he has all the trust in the world for him. So I feel that the Seattle Seahawks have no choice but to give this guy 15, 20 touches this week. So I'm all in on Travis Homer as my Seattle Seahawk to play. Lockett should smash too, but they're going against Carolina. They are absolutely atrocious against the run. They are very good in the secondary, but they can't tackle worth a damn. So I think Travis Homer is actually going to do pretty decent against that front. And our line in Seattle has actually been pretty dang good, even though it's super young. So I think that's the advantage that we have. It's going to be the run game. We're just going to try and plug away on this game and just let's escape this game with no major injuries, no more injuries. We got to get healthy for playoffs. Though that's the number one thing they're going to do, and I guarantee you they're going to protect all the big boy names with Geno Smith and Lockett and whatnot by just feeding Travis Homer, because that's what he's supposed to be. He's just a backup that's going to fill in quite nicely for us, I think.
Yeah, we got Jen in the house, of course. And listen, the thing too, and this is what sucks about not having Ken Walker this week, is that it's such a nice matchup. The 21st ranked matchup, which is positive. It's a lot of green on there for those Seattle Seahawks running backs. Over at DFSArmy.com, the matchup tool, one of my favorite tools, just getting the games on the slates. Yeah, man. I mean, I got nothing else to add to that. I think it's going to be a fantastic matchup. For those of you who listen to the Waiver Wire show, Mr. Matthew Beck, who did not clearly, Travis Homer was the play. I was saying it from the beginning.
Yes.
Even if DJ Dallas was completely healthy, it was going to be Travis Homer. Likely more of a timeshare type situation, but Homer is by far, in my opinion, the superior back. So load it up, baby. Question for Bali.
Oh, here
we go. Are
you
you playing Travis Homer over Njoku? Yes. And Robert Woods. Now, Robert Woods, of course, we know that Treylon Burks is out with the concussion, but my thought is here that I'm going to play Travis Homer over Robert Woods. Robert Woods is not the same player that he used to be. Obviously, it's a bump in the fact that he's going to be the number one dog on that team. But if Jacksonville has Trevor Lawrence, Woods is going to be he's actually one of my honorable mentions if Trevor Lawrence plays, because you want the opposite quarterback being on the field so they can go back and forth. You want Jacksonville to score points so that Tennessee can score points, right?
Right.
It's kind of the bottom line. And for whatever reason, like Derrick Henry, there were some rumors maybe he's been injured because he does not look like the same guy. Maybe he's just getting old. You know, maybe Father Time has finally caught up to him. I'm going to err on the side he's probably injured because Henry is he's not human. And Father Time, you know, we look at certain players like Tom Brady, not human. You know, he's a freak. Yeah, I'm still leaning Travis Homer here.
I think Henry explodes this week.
Oh, geez.
I think he's about to explode for the next month. If you look at his matchups, he got Jacksonville, Chargers, Houston, and then Dallas and Jacksonville again. So I'm just telling you, Henry is going to end up winning people a lot of leagues.
I got another question from Bali, and this is going to lead into my flex play decision. And really, his question is DJ Chark over Robert Woods. And this is kind of the age-old question. Do you want to have the starting wide receiver on a meh passing offense, and he's kind of old and fading, or do you want the number 2 wide receiver on an absolutely perfect gem? If you were sculpting the perfect fantasy football matchup in a classroom, Brandon, you want that Minnesota Vikings secondary going up against your outside wide receivers. And I'm probably going to lean Chark over this one. Now, this might be contrarian because Chark hasn't done too much. And obviously, who's that guy that he plays with? Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's an absolute super alpha stud. But I'm going to lean DJ Chark. And listen, I'm going to let's dig into this a little bit, okay?
Yeah, you go next.
Players, okay? So DJ Chark going up against Minnesota. It's 51.5 over under, which I believe is the second highest. Yeah, it's the second highest total on the slate after the Bulls and Dolphins game. Here's the thing, right? DJ Chark, he's an alpha, but he's actually a beta, right? We know that Amon-Ra St. Brown is a true alpha on that team, but he does have a 97th percentile speed score and a 93rd percentile burst score. In the last 3 weeks, since he's returned from his ankle sprain, he continues to ratchet up his usage and his production. Last week, 83% snap share. He had 37 routes run. He got 5 of his targets, 98 yards, 108 air yards, Brandon, and he had 16.3 yards per target. So, just like we talked about Garrett Wilson last week going up against Minnesota, it's the same process, right? Now, obviously, the difference between Garrett Wilson and DJ Chark is that Garrett Wilson he's that guy,
stud,
right?
Yeah,
but
he's him.
I feel like Robert Woods hasn't really done much all season. And to your point, if Tennessee is going to really have a chance in this game, I think you're going to have to they're going to play defense and they're going to run with Derrick Henry. So I am leaning towards Chark of that choice. And I like Chark as a flex play this week where I have him in leagues. I'm playing him. And where I've been asked in the Discord chat over at dfsarmy.com, I'm telling people play DJ Chark. And Jen has a nice little compliment for you. She says she likes your sweatshirt. So there you go, Brandon.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Give me your number 2 pick. This is all killer, no filler today, Brandon. Give me your number 2 pick.
All right. Michael Gallup of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He's going to be playing against Houston. Let me pull this up real quick. So we got the game has got 44 points implied. 30 and a half of those points are going to Dallas. So this is going to be a blowout. This is going to be a game where Dak can start feeling himself a little bit and slinging that ball a little bit. And with Devin Stingley Jr. out, the superstar corner rookie, he's going to be out. So there's going to be nobody that's going to be able to stop Michael Gallup or CeeDee Lamb in the passing game. I just feel like this is going to open up quite a bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if Zeke snuck in there in the fourth quarter and did well as well. But Gallup is the play for me. He's been getting 7 to 8 targets each game. He's looking healthier to me. Last week, he's coming off a 2-touchdown performance. So let's see if he can carry this into some momentum going into the later half of the season. And I just feel there's just nobody to stop him. Like, there's really nobody to stop him. And Michael Gallup, if he was on many other teams, he'd be a number one wide receiver. He's a stud. He's just, he kind of reminds me of how Godwin is starting to look. Godwin looked a little bit weak early in the season, coming off injury. He's coming on lately, and now Godwin looks totally 100% normal. I think that's what's happening here with Michael Gallup, and I think he's going to be 100% for this game. And I think he gets in the box and he gets himself 7-8 targets, 75 yards, 4 or 5 catches. One's going to be a bomb, and I feel like one's going to be over the top into the box. So I just feel like he's getting in there. Dak is starting to feel it a little bit more and more now too. So I just like the Cowboys, how they're trending. Each game, they're starting to become more and more impressive to me here. And this is a good game to just, stomp on somebody's neck and start feeling really good about yourself heading into, the playoff time. December football, baby. It's going to be a lot of fun.
December football. And listen, for all you Cowboys fans out there, they're rolling right now, which is fantastic because guess what? Yeah. It's not playoffs yet. So it's not going to be choke season quite yet. We got a few more weeks where the Dallas Cowboys are going to continue to look like an absolutely dominant NFL team.
Absolutely.
And then choke in the playoffs. But listen, there was a lot of hot controversial takes at the start of the season that Michael Gallup was the wide receiver 1 on that team, and it wasn't CeeDee Lamb. Now, I was not. We were not. We did not subscribe to that belief because we believe that CeeDee Lamb is special. He has DeAndre Hopkins' career arc in his range of outcomes. I strongly believe that. But I also believe Michael Gallup, man.
Me too.
I don't necessarily agree with the Amari Cooper trade because I think Cooper is still superior to Michael Gallup. I think that was a mistake by the Cowboys.
Huge mistake.
But the reason they did it was because of Michael Gallup, right? That's a fact. So you bake that into the equation. Now, the only thing, and I'm just going to play devil's advocate here a little bit, is the fact that the way that teams blow out Houston is on the ground, right?
It's on the ground. I know.
It's on the ground. Yeah. So it's going to be a monster game for Tony Pollard. It's going to be a monster game for Ezekiel Elliott. And I just wonder if that because it's so easy, path of least resistance sometimes, right? It's so much easier to get points and to get yards against the Texans on the ground that maybe they'll shy away a little bit from the passing game.
Maybe
if they're a 55%, 60% pass team, maybe it'll be closer to 50-50, which will just take away a few opportunities. If Michael Gallup's going to get 7 targets a game, maybe he'll get 5, right? So it limits that massive upside possibly. But to your point, I mean, the fact that Stingley's out, it could open things up, and that's absolutely massive. So man, I love Michael Gallup. I'm never going to say bench Michael Gallup at this point. No. He's a dare I say he's a locked in starter every single week.
He should be a flex in most rosters here on out. So like I said, the reason why I went with it is because I saw yesterday Stingley was out. I respect that kid's game a lot. And he would have been lined up on Gallup a lot this week. But now that he's gone, I just feel like Gallup is going to get free. And honestly, I think Jerry Jones loves beating down the Houston team quite a bit. So I guarantee you that they are going to try and put up as many points as possible just to get Jerry happy and to be the dominant team in Texas. That's what they're going to show. Yeah, but you're right. Pollard should explode. Yeah. Zeke should explode. This is going to be a major, major blowout. So I just feel,
totally agree.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm hoping Gallup sneaks in there.
We got another question from Bali. He needs to bench
Sure.
one out of these players: Travis Homer, Samaje Perine, Kareem Hunt, or Matt Breida. Now, I would probably lean Perine, right? Because just the fact that, I think Perine's the answer here. Matt Breida, I don't love Breida, but listen, it's Breida if you're playing Breida if Saquon's out, right?
Saquon. I was watching video of him yesterday at practice. He looked like he was moving around just fine. Saquon. I watched video of him moving around. He didn't look like he was stiff or anything or hesitant or whatever. I feel like he's going to suit up and he'll be just fine. He's going to rock it out. But honestly, Breida is probably going to be pretty useless this week, to be honest. I feel like Barkley is he's going to tough it out, and he knows what's going on. Playoffs are right around the corner. They got to win.
The only thing that worries me a little bit about Barkley, just in general, is it's a neck injury, right? Like we saw that with Chris Carson. That's the sort of thing I don't know if they want to mess around with. Maybe they would and it's up against Philadelphia. So I guess the Giants need to look in the mirror and realize, okay, do we actually realistically have a chance of beating Philadelphia? If they legitimately believe they do, then you need to play Saquon because they cannot beat Philadelphia without Saquon. That's what I believe. Now, if they look in the mirror and say, listen, we don't believe that we can beat Philadelphia, we still have a path to the playoffs. Let's let him sit 1 week, get a little bit healthier, and help make that run. I don't know what goes into the coaching decision. It's also probably going to be, if the doctors say you can play, then he'll play.
I think he's going to play, and I think it takes a lot to get these guys out during this time of the year. So I don't know. Just Perine. The only thing that I like about Perine is that he does get third down work, so he will get some pass catching opportunity. So that's the only thing. And Mixon's coming off that concussion, so you never know with that, But it's been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's pass fail for concussions. You're either in or you're out with concussions, though. Unless you're Tua.
Unless you're Tua. Unless you're a Dolphin.
We got one more for Bali, then I'm going to give you my second flex play on the week. Do you like Zay Jones this week, going up against Tennessee, or Gabriel Davis going up against the buzzsaw that is New York Jets secondary?
Davis.
To me, it's Gabe Davis still. I will say, though, again, one of my honorable mentions a little bit later is going to be Zay Jones. He had an abysmal week last week. If you listen to the show, which hopefully y'all did, Brandon and I were saying, listen, just be careful with Zay Jones this week. He had a career game previous week. He's probably going to fall flat in his face because that's what Zay Jones does. And guess what? That's what he did, right? That's what he did. I think it's just hilarious, though, and this is for Captain Dez and one of the leagues that you and I playing together, Brandon. He was trying to sell Zay like
it's a joke.
Crazy. It's like, no, bro. And he wanted a second. Like, guy, I'll give you a fourth for Zay Jones.
Dude, he came back to me and wanted a 2024 third. And I told him to kick rocks again. I was like, no, I don't need it. Like, just stop it.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. All right. Okay, my second play of the week, and this is a guy that I've been kind of on and off all season, is Donovan Peoples-Jones this week.
Here we go.
Browns going up against Cincinnati. We talked about it already. Amari Cooper's questionable with the hip. Even if he goes, Amari has this amazing ability, despite his talent, to just disappear in games. And I worry, hip injuries worry me, man, because again, it's about separation. We got Girl69 talking about like my hot photo of my sister. Oof, it's getting steamy in here, Brandon. The spam.
What's going on here?
Fly. Just spam in the chat. It makes me laugh. We get it on occasion. Okay, last week we saw Donovan Peoples-Jones. He did all of his work on the special teams, right? He scored the special teams touchdown. But here's the thing. He continues to be a monster. He's an active part of that passing game. Deshaun Watson, I've had a lot of questions in the Discord chat this week about should we play Deshaun Watson. I'm going to continue to bench Deshaun. I don't think I'm comfortable playing him this entire season. And it's one of the reasons I said, fade the guy. Do not draft him. Do not draft Deshaun Watson. Some of you guys just picked him up off waivers, in which case that's fine if he's on your bench. But he's a backup quarterback right now. Until I see it.
Right now.
I think it was before last week, it was 700 days. 700 days, Brandon, since he last played in an NFL game.
Yeah, that's 2 years of rust to build up and break off.
Exactly. And he didn't look good in the preseason, and he didn't look good last week. So it worries me a little bit. But all that to be said, I still think he's going to be competent enough to move that offense. We saw people come back from the dead. We saw the Lazarus just even with Baker Mayfield this week, right? So Deshaun Watson, he's got it in his range of outcome. And the thing is that DPJ, he's a monster. He's 6'2", 212 pounds.
He's good.
He's a size speed specimen. He has a 4.48 40-yard dash, but for his size, it was an 87% speed score, according to our friends over at playerprofiler.com. And he has a 100 percentile burst score, Brandon.
Oh, baby.
Yes. So that really represents your stop acceleration, right? And then it's based off your vertical and your broad jump, right? So the guy knows how to create separation, and it's what we saw in the punting game last week. It's why he's returning kicks, even though he's 6 foot freaking 2. It's because he has that burst and he's got that separation ability. So Donovan Peoples-Jones this week going up against Cincinnati. Now,
I like it.
As always, I'm always a little bit skeptical with these AFC North teams, even NFC North teams that are outdoor games, because they can be slugfests. Yeah. But I like the fact that Cincinnati's starting to get healthy. Jamar Chase obviously is getting healthy. So they're going to put up points. This could either be a massive blowout, or if Cleveland's going to have a hope in hell of keeping up, then DPJ is going to have to score. And it's not exactly like the Bengals are projected to blow them out. It's about a 5.5 point favorite for the Cincinnati Bengals. So Donovan Peoples-Jones, man, it seems like a pretty safe play this week. What do you think?
Hey, I actually really like that. I've been all week before this injury with Amari Cooper, I've been trying to trade for Amari Cooper for the playoffs in a couple of leagues, because he's got the easiest schedule coming up and he's got the easiest path to workload there around for a wide receiver 1. So I was looking into it, but now that he's injured, immediately when I saw he was injured, I was like, DPJ. Yeah, I was like, Donovan Peoples-Jones is going to end up being the guy. Is Njoku's suiting up, right?
He's supposed to play, yep.
I think he has a good game as well. I think he could actually have himself a little bit of volume this week. And we know he's a super freak athlete. So I think those are the two guys in the passing that are going to make plays. And then, of course, Chubb is always going to make plays. To be honest, they should just lean the heck, just get Watson through the year. Just get him, some experience back again in games. And I think that next year he'll explode and be back to what he was. But this year you can see the hesitancy. You can see that he's got a lot on his mind. Even in practice when he's throwing the ball, like it's a little off target here and there, and not what I'm used to seeing.
No, he looks rusty.
Watson. Yeah, he doesn't look right. But with Donovan Peoples-Jones, though, he's going to be able to run underneath a deep ball or two. So he's going to get you some big chunk yards and big plays. So I like it.
The only player, I'm just looking at the injury report. So the only player on the injury report for the Browns this week is actually Amari Cooper. They are completely healthy. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So David Njoku, he's going to be a go, brother. I got a question here from Bali. Another one. He needs to bench 1. James Conner, you're playing. Rachaad White. So it's Conner, Swift, Foreman, or Rachaad White. To me, last week, Brandon, you were very vocal. Very vocal. It's Swift season. He's healthy. He's back. Do not sit DeAndre Swift. So you're playing Conner. You're playing Swift. So really, it's a question between Deonta Foreman and Rachaad White. Now, I'm even if Leonard Fournette plays, I'm still going to leave Rachaad White here.
Okay.
What do you think?
I get it. And just to throw this out here, Nick Bosa is not going to play. Bosa has got a hamstring, so that's a big deal for the pass rush with the Niners. The team kind of plays a little different when Bosa's not in there. So I can see a little bit more Rachaad White and some more run game coming action that they're going to be more productive than usual against the Niners. With the ground game.
I think, Brandon, the reason people are so reluctant to play any of these running backs is because they saw what happened to Miami last week with Jeff Wilson, right? They got absolutely shut down. But to your point, especially if Bosa doesn't play, then you want to go Rachaad White. Does the fact that Deonta Foreman, he has the 24th best matchup, so number 24. He
does. Honestly, that's a dead even. I was going between Foreman and Rachaad White for flex plays for this week. So it's a dead even heat. So if you're a matchup guy, I would go Foreman. If you believe in talent overall, I would go White. Like that's just the way my philosophy is. And honestly, I'm going to lean towards Rachaad White because he's coming on hot, and that team is starting to trust him in a big way, and that is a big deal, man. And with even if Leonard does suit up, I don't see him getting 40% of the snaps, man. I just see him, bailing him out here and there and getting some goal line touches here and there. But
when the game was on the line last week, it was Rashad White.
It was always White.
Game. It was White that caught that touchdown to put them ahead. So, yeah, I think we got to go Rashad White here.
Yep.
If Foreman plays, then I would – it to me, it's an even coin flip. Rashad White, to me, probably a little bit higher upside, whereas Foreman maybe a safer floor. So play it that way, Baldy. If you're a favorite, maybe consider playing Foreman just because it's a safer play. But Rashad White, if you're an underdog.
In PPR, I go White over Foreman, 100%. Just because he has that ability. The way you beat pass rush is through screenplays, right? Like that is a big way to do it, and Rashad White is a stud at that. So that's something I would be looking for if I was a PPR guy, PPR team.
Okay, we got one from Tristan. This one's actually a little bit tough, and I wonder just how sick is his team. He's like, would you rather start Jalen Waddle or DeAndre Swift in the flex this week?
Waddle.
I think you got to go Waddle, man. I think you got to go Waddle here. Just
because, Waddle's upside.
Yeah, Waddle's massive upside. He's got a safe floor. He's an active part of that game. I like the fact that Mike Williams is going to play, right? Because this game has a massive over-under. It's got a 53.5 over-under. It's also the Sunday night game, which I absolutely love, right? I love cheering for players. And just, going back to the Minnesota game against Detroit, like they can win through the air against these guys. And that Jamal Williams is going to be the vulture on the goal line. So Swift just has a harder path to fantasy success this week than Jalen Waddle. So I'm rocking Jalen Waddle. Good luck, Charles. That one's tough. And listen, if that's your flex decision, you got a disgusting team. And I say congratulations. Good luck in the playoffs because I guarantee you're in playoff contention. All right, brother. Give me your third and final flex play of the week.
My third and final flex play is going to be the old man himself, Adam Thielen of the Vikings. He is so in that game we got 52 point implied, 25 for the team and he's going to be lining up against this guy, the scrub named Jerry Jacobs. He's not even ranked on Player Profiler, okay? And it's a major mismatch. Okota is going to be dealing with Jefferson, so that is going to be off the plate of Adam Thielen. I don't see him getting covered very much by Okota, and I just feel this is going to be one of those games where it's going to be wild and it's going to come down to the end. It's going to be guys that aren't the stars that come through, that get in the box, that win the game. And I think Adam Thielen is that guy here. Adam Thielen, you can always count on some decent volume going his direction. And he's just a route running monster, especially, Kirk Cousins loves this guy in the red zone. He just loves his size. They have a good chemistry. And with that point, with the over and under of 52, man, I don't see how Adam Thielen can't be successful in this game. So I am all in on Adam Thielen this week, especially when you're going against some guy named Jerry Jacobs I've never even heard of. So like that is just something that I'm going all in with Adam Thielen. I was going to say somebody else, but Adam Thielen is the play to me this week. He's going to get 16, 17 points and get in the box this week. What's
absolutely freaking wild, Brandon? The Minnesota Vikings get no respect whatsoever. They're the underdogs in this game going up against.
I know. It's insane.
It's insane. You don't think that's going to be wallpaper, chalkboard
guaranteed
for the team this week? It's like, guys, what do we have to do?
Yeah.
The hapless Detroit Lions? Come on now. No, I love it. Think too, what's disgusting? Like just looking at last week's game, Justin Jefferson had a 40% target share in that.
It's going to shift. It's
absolutely disgusting. I think, listen, on the season is 32%. Adam Thielen, he's pretty much locked and loaded. Last week, 22%. On the season, 21%. So we know what Adam Thielen is. He's going to get 7-8 targets a week. I like him to get in the box this week. I mean, remember, that's what he was. He was a touchdown machine. All right. Ooh, we got another tough one here. Go ahead. Finish your
thought. Here we go. Yeah.
Do you want to finish your thought or run into this question?
No, you're good. Go ahead. I just saw that.
Okay. Should we start Jerry Jeudy or Mike Evans at the flex? To me, this is an overthought, right? You're starting Mike Evans.
Yeah, it's a Mike Evans. I totally understand Jerry Jeudy. So before I picked Adam Thielen, I had Jerry Jeudy queued up, and I decided to not go there. But because it's just, with Jerry Jeudy, he's going to have volume this week. No Cortland Sutton. when they're talking about Greg Dulcich running as a wide receiver this week, they're hurting for pass catchers and for guys that they can actually use. So with Jerry Jeudy should get – I would not be surprised if he got 10 targets this week. I would not be surprised. So especially going against Kansas City, they're going to be chasing all game. They are going to get blown out, so they got to throw the ball. I get it, but Evans, you just can't sit Evans, man. Like Evans he's one of my guys. He was one of my original, like one of my favorite dudes, man. And it's awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah. So our projection actually has Jerry Jeudy scoring more points in PPR than Mike Evans, but I'm not gonna sit Mike Evans. I'm just not gonna do it unless now the thing is he only had a 7% target share last week, which worries me a little bit. Like they've been able to phase him out of the game, and Tampa doesn't look good against San Francisco. So I get that's why. Again, it goes: do you trust the player, the talent, the tried and true guy, or do you want to go with the better matchup? Jerry Jeudy. Some people liked him as a talent when he, was coming into the NFL, but he hasn't done anything in his career.
He hasn't done squat.
Man, in Kansas City, Denver games, they always turn out to be nasty, man. Like I'm playing the under in that game in general. I think it's going to be just a disgusting game because Denver's just that bad that like they bring down their competition, which is just brutal. Okay. So we got to go quickly here. We got one last question from Bali. Would you go? He has CD. Would you play Njoku over Schultz? I feel like probably not, but it's a fine thing to do because, again, we talked about the fact that it's probably going to be a run-heavy game for Dallas, which is going to take away from Dalton Schultz's upside. David Njoku, perfectly safe play, especially because Amari Cooper is hurt. So we're going to
like it.
Because Brandon's got to go. He's got a business meeting coming up shortly. But I got to give my last guy real quick here. Guys, if you have Jeff Wilson, you are playing Jeff Wilson Jr., okay? San Francisco defense against the run was the number one run defense in the league. Toughest matchup. It was an absolute gong show. Miami didn't look good last week, but don't forget, since he's been acquired, since he was traded in week 9, he's put up 6, and this is in PPR scoring, 16 points, 22 points. Week 11 was a bye. Week 12, 12 points. Week 13, he put up 3. At very least, against a middling team going up against the Chargers, which is the highest over/under on the slate. Sunday Night Hammer. Don't overthink it. You're playing Jeff Wilson. So that's it, boys and girls. That's it for the flex shows. Now we're gonna still be here on the weekends. We're gonna have some of our flex plays, but we're gonna start talking a little bit more about the rookie class. We're gonna talk about a little bit more about matchups in general. So our format's gonna change slightly moving forward on the Saturday show. We're still here to answer all of your start-sit questions because next week. It's playoffs, baby. It's absolutely playoffs. And that's it. I mean, it's going to be fantastic. Brandon, anything you want to tell the people before we head out here?
No, just good luck to everybody. Sneak into those playoffs and just win championships. That's what it's about. And honestly, if you're a dynasty owner and you can still trade, and if you're in the game, just make the trade. Go for it. Always go for it. I'm never going to tell people not to go for it because – when you got the chance, you got to seize the moment. And so that's how I play this game, and that's why I hang banners.
Listen, fantasy football is hard, okay? Dynasty fantasy football is even harder. If you're in it, you're legitimately in it, you need to go for it because there's nothing worse in Dynasty than being in the middle because then your picks are middling. It's really hard to move up. People overvalue picks. 50% of first-round picks, Brandon, bust. Not just are viable, but half of the first-round picks bust. They're overvalued. Go for it. All right, let's get out of here, brother. Actually, I have one piece of advice for the people with the flex plays. Don't overthink it. Play your studs. We are the DFS Army Fantasy Football Show. Go check us out, dfsarmy.com. Good luck in Week 14, and we'll see you next week in the playoffs, baby.